sliding into history when Jackie Robinson shattered baseball's race barrier. The young ball player's mind likely raced as fast as he did during one of his famous home base steals. His poker-faced demeanor, however, didn't betray this inner turmoil. He sat motionless as Dodgers general manager Branch Rickey bombarded him with a string of racial slurs. As Rickey role-played a motley variety of bigoted spectators, players, sports writers, and hotel managers, he employed every racist term he could think of. The victim of this verbal barrage, Jackie Robinson, knew Rickey was simply testing his resolve. Finally, though, Jackie felt he had taken enough abuse. "Mr. Rickey," he challenged, "do you want a baseball player who is afraid to fight back?" "No," Rickey famously countered. "I want a baseball player with guts enough not to fight back." Robinson knew his potential boss was right. If Jackie were to react to the abuse that would surely come if he took Rickey's job proposal, he would be playing right into the racist's hands. He also knew if he accepted the offer, he would be walking straight into a lion's den. Baseball hadn't seen a black player in a major league uniform since 1884, and Jackie knew millions of fans were perfectly satisfied with that situation. Branch Rickey, though, felt it was time to integrate the sport. He boldly laid out his plan to Robinson. He would start him on the Dodgers' primary farm team, the Montreal Royals. If he could make the grade there, Rickey told him, he would call him up to play for the Dodgers. The opportunity to play on a major league team was too enticing for Robinson to dismiss it without serious consideration. Finally, after Rickey had laid out his strategy, it was time for Jackie's decision. Jackie was acutely aware his choice could change history. "I knew I was kind of an experiment," he later noted. "The whole thing was bigger than me." Factored into his decision would be months or even years of bellowing bigots, hate mail, and probably even death threats. But on the other side of the equation stood millions of black baseball fans longing for someone to embody their long-stifled hopes and dreams. Rickey had been following Robinson's career and was impressed with both his talents and his professional conduct. "I want to win the pennant, and we need ball players," he informed him. "Do you think you can do it?" Dodgers scout Clyde Sukeforth was in the room during the fateful interview. Jackie waited and waited and waited before answering, Clyde recalled. "We were all just looking at him." Finally, Jackie uttered the decision that would echo through baseball history. Yes. His route to this historical landmark began in the small rural town of Cairo, Georgia. Jackie was the youngest of 5 children, and unfortunately his father abandoned the family when Jackie was just a child. Jackie's mother moved them to Pasadena, California, where they moved in with family. And although his athletic skills emerged early, he and his black friends were excluded from the community sports programs. As a substitute, he joined a neighborhood gang. Fortunately for Jackie and for sports history, a friend soon convinced him to leave it and join his buddies in their homegrown games with homemade equipment. Despite the lack of quality sports gear and playing fields, Jackie's athletic prowess began to flourish. While at John Muir High School in 1935, he found he could excel in just about any sport he tried. His brothers, Frank and Mac, were both athletic and encouraged his interests. In fact, the next year, Mac would win the silver medal in the legendary Berlin Olympics, coming in just behind Jesse Owens in the 200-meter dash. In high school, Jackie lettered in 4 sports: football, basketball, track, and baseball. He later continued to play the same mixture of sports at UCLA. There, as in high school, he won varsity letters in all 4. Ironically, his worst sport at UCLA was baseball, which he played for only 1 season. Jackie scored a low batting average, but did reveal a glimmer of his future greatness. His remarkable base-running skills surfaced, and he stole home base several times throughout the season. While a senior at UCLA, he met his future bride, Rachel Isom. Even though both Rachel and his mother tried to talk him out of it, Jackie decided he needed a full-time job and left college only a few credits short of graduating. He felt he needed to contribute more to the family income and took a position as an assistant athletic director with a government youth program. Baseball was still not his game of choice, and when government funding for the youth program shut down, he turned his sights toward football. Following a brief season with the semi-professional Honolulu Bears in Hawaii, he returned to California to sign up with the Los Angeles Bulldogs. Playing football, he resolved, was how he was going to make his mark on sports history. But in 1942, fate put the brakes on his football career with the advent of a Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. He was drafted by the Army into a segregated unit based out of Fort Riley, Kansas. Jackie learned that his college experience qualified him for officer candidate school. When he graduated as a second lieutenant, he was assigned to Fort Hood, Texas. While there, he once boarded an Army bus and was ordered to move to the back. Jackie refused, and the driver eventually backed down. When they reached the end of the line, though, the driver summoned the military police, who took Robinson into custody. The incident resulted in 2 counts of insubordination. Although he was later acquitted of both, the incident remained on his military record, which prompted Ricky to test Jackie's ability to withstand abuse. Not only did Jackie keep his temper in check, he let his athletic skills speak for him. As Ricky had planned, he was called up to the Dodgers for the 1947 season. By the end of that season, he was honored as the National League's Rookie of the Year for his outstanding record of 29 steals and 12 home runs. As expected, however, that year had also been tainted by a long, smoldering racial hatred. The word had surfaced that several fellow Dodgers were planning to sit out games rather than play with Robinson. Manager Leo Durocher squelched this potential mutiny. "I don't care if the guy is yellow or black or has stripes like a zebra," he bellowed to his assembled players. "I'm the manager of this team, and I say he plays." Then, appealing to their love of money, he pointed out that they were sure to draw larger crowds at the games, and that would mean higher salaries for everyone. "If any of you cannot use the money," he added, "I will see that you are all traded." As Jackie's career blossomed, his tremendous ability and team player attitude slowly turned most people around. The eventual solidarity and support of his team members was symbolized when several boisterous spectators at a game started shouting racial slurs at Jackie. team captain Pee Wee Reese, in a legendary gesture, walked up to him and put his arm around him, resulting in silencing the hecklers and eliciting applause. By the time Jackie's career statistics were entered into baseball history, he had been selected as an All-Star for 6 consecutive seasons. He also won the National League's Most Valuable Player award and played in 6 World Series championships, helping the Dodgers finally trounce the Yankees in 1955. Actually, Jackie Robinson's meteoric career was foretold years before his arrival. Once during an interview with a Dodgers radio announcer, Branch Rickey said he was looking for the right man to break baseball's color line. "I don't know who he is or where he is," Rickey confided, "but he is coming."